Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the series Commerce No Big Deal. I still remember when I had scored 80% marks in my 10th standard, my grandfather told me that Nikhil, science is not your cup of tea. So please opt for commerce. At that point in time, it was one of the biggest insults which I've ever seen. And today, it is my biggest ever pride to be a commerce student and to be able to make my career in commerce. Hi, I am CA, CS, and CMA Nikhil Gupta, and I am here to present before you some achievers, to introduce you with some people who have made it really, really big in the commerce profession. And to talk about commerce, the basic inception of this particular subject or this particular stream is the three pillars of commerce: CA, CS, and CMA. Today I'm going to introduce you to CA Shivangi Goyal, and she is recently qualified chartered accountant and has scored all India 30th rank. So round of applause, Shivangi. It has been a dream to attain a rank for me also. So trust me, I've given three examination and always I've ever thought of a rank and I've not been able to achieve in even a single level. But yes, we have a winner with us, Shivangi Goel. And Shivangi, definitely we would want all our students to be benefited from your experience, from your advices and your guidance. And I want all my students to achieve ranks in their upcoming examination. So my first question to you would be, how does it feel to be CA Shivangi Goyal and All India rank holder 30?
Um, Hi everybody. To be a rank holder is another feeling, and you are addressing me as a CA is completely different. Like, I'm not used to this prefix, but yes, I've earned it, and so I just cannot forget the reaction of my parents when they saw my result. So. They were crying, they were happy, and all at the same time. So all the money, time, patience, support they've invested in me was worth it. And I am glad that I made it with an all India rank. I was not expecting it, but yes, I have made it over here, and everything is a bit surreal right now because I'm not used to this prefix, but I'll tag along.
Fantastic. And the most beautiful feeling in this world is, guys, to see your parents cry and to know that they are crying for good and to know that they are happy because of you. That is the most beautiful feeling in this entire world. And trust me, even if you get promotions in your near future, even if you get career growth, but the happiness which parents have once you qualify is not going to ever come again in your life. So it is once in a lifetime opportunity. Okay, so now coming on to the point. What was the strategy with which you had studied in your examination? How many hours were put in? What were the key elements which you had taken care of while studying? What was the entire strategy to clear clear B, attain a rank in a professional examination?
Okay, so the strategy I would say came from another ranker. So I did not take a lot of stress before my study leaves. I was going to classes, but I was not full fledgedly studying at home also. So during my study leaves, I started. So I planned my leaves. So you have to plan the number of days that you take. So n number of days you're getting before your for your study leaves, just divide that by the number of subjects, and then further divide that by the number of revisions you want to give to every subject. So that was my strategy, just stick to that plan, and those were like mini targets for me that I had to achieve. And then I took some time off and like, be happy that I achieved that. So that was my strategy. And the elements that you have to take care of while studying, just understand the concept, because if you have to do something and revise something in 1.5 days, and trust me, the syllabus for any subject, it is not that this subject has a lesser syllabus. The syllabus for every subject is vast, and so 1.5 days was less for every subject, and for every subject I was writing till the last second. So you cannot say that any subject is less. So you have to give your best to every subject, and just make sure that you understand the concept, because mugging up will not help in a CA exam. Only understanding will help, because the questions that come are not from the book. They are very conceptual, so just understanding is the key.
Absolutely. And Shivangi, so you've given both the groups together. Many of these students are grappling with the idea of whether they have to give one group or they have to give both the groups. Many of them have flunked in the last examination and they are really demotivated. So tell me, is there any benefit of appearing in the in both the groups together, and do you think that it is advisable to put in that extra hard work to appear and attempt for both the groups?
Yes, obviously. So I have given both of them. Like in my IPCC was separate groups, and my final was both groups together, obviously. So I would say yes, both groups giving together is a benefit, and just because of the fact that if you score a 40 in one group, the other group compensates. So that was the reason that I gave both groups together, because I just wanted to exercise that benefit once. So yes, I gave it because of that. And for someone who is not confident that they can go for both groups together, do not go for it. If you're confident that you can make it in one group, then only go for it. And also there will be it will be a little demotivating, not demotivating I would say, but you will have a hard time coping up, because people will be on their third revision or second revision, who are giving obviously for one group, but you will be on the first revision, so that you will have a hard time doing that. But then it was worth it. Like that decision was worth it, because n number of people were telling me that you should give one group at a time and just take your time to revise everything and be thorough with the subjects. But then I am glad that I made that decision.
Amazing decision. So guys, now let's ask Shivangi a very technical question and a very intricate one, because we have two school of thoughts here, Shivangi. One school of thought says that no, coachings are not required for all the subjects and coaching should be taken only for a couple of subjects. And there's another school of thought which says that no, do not take any risk, it's a professional examination, take coachings for all the subjects, be it beneficial or no, decide it afterwards, but at least take coaching for all the subjects. So now, how to come out of this dilemma, and how did you strategize around your coachings?
Okay, for coachings, it is a very subjective answer, and you can take none, you can take one. It is your choice completely. And for me, uh, I did my homework by seeing that what are the subjects, what do they entail, how much do I know already of that subject, because I had done my graduation in Bachelor's of Management Studies, so I had knowledge of international trade and finance, which was somewhat related to SFM. So for SFM, I did not think I needed coachings. I just needed notes from a very good teacher, very thorough notes, and I will be good. I thought of that. So it depends if you want to take coachings and for what subjects you want to take coaching. That what how much content is available, how much time do you have to spare to go to those classes, if it is available online, and the content that is available on it. So these are the factors that you factor in while making this choice, I would say.
Absolutely. And one very important point here, guys, this is all customized and this is not a square jacketed formula for each one of you. You have to think, analyze what's good for yourself. Whatever gives you confidence, do that. There's no square jacketed formula for this entire thing. We can give you our strategies. So my strategy was that I didn't used to take theory subjects coaching at all, because I was comfortable in doing theory myself, and I was focusing more on practical subjects. So this is my strategy, but your strategy can be entirely different. So choose a right strategy for yourself. And with pride and privilege, let me tell you guys that Shivangi works with me. Yes, I'm a proud colleague of Shivangi, and Shivangi works in the same organization as I do. And I know for sure that Shivangi has a amazing talent, that she is a very good dancer. So now my next question would be, should you leave your hobbies for during examination time? And जैसे लोग कहते हैं तपस्या का मोड होना चाहिए, चार दीवारी, आप, आपकी चाय और तपस्या. It's like tapasya. So leave everything in this world. So did you leave all your hobbies and you were stuck in four walls of your home, or how did you turn your hobby into a motivation, or what did you do with your hobbies?
No, no, no. You do not leave your hobbies. Like, that is the key. You do not leave your hobbies. You will be frustrated if you do that. Because studying for 8 to 10 hours, say, per day, and just studying, eating is a very bad routine, and you will hate it. Like, for maybe 3-4 months, you're very motivated and you're like, we'll just go for it. But after a point of time, it becomes very monotonous. So, if you can have any hobby that you really like, it can be anything. It can be painting also. It can be anything. You can even do at home. You can go running, you can go to the gym, you can dance, I would say, or zumba, anything. So just go for it, because it kills monotony. So if you have some time to spare, I would say you can consider reducing the frequency of it, but do not leave it full-fledgedly. Do not leave it. And hobbies are a very important part of this phase that you will go through.
And trust me, whatever targets you achieve, you fix for yourself, or whatever goals you fix for yourself, and so you turn your entire objective is to clear professional examination. You break that objective into small goals. So you will finish, say, FR in 1 week, or you will finish law in, say, 5 days. You set a target for yourself, and soon as you achieve that target, fulfill your hobby. Go for a movie, or do dance, or do whatever. So it turns your hobby into a motivation that will keep you going, running, and will break the monotony, and you can easily pursue your hobby as well. Really apologetic to all the parents who are listening over there, but yes, parents, you would not like this idea, but this is a Gen X idea which is working really well. It worked for me, it worked for Shivangi, and I know it will work for your ward as well. So do not hesitate in promoting your son or daughter to pursue his or her hobbies during the examination time. Right. So next question to you would be now again not a square jacketed question, and not, it will be customized for each to each his own. But how many hours of studies did you put in before your examination and during the examination?
Um,
And did you sleep during examination? Because I've heard these strange stories which are told to me, which I don't know whether to trust or not. That, sir, I didn't sleep for the 15 days, or I slept only for 2 hours per day for 15 entire days during the examination. How true, how real, and how necessary?
Um, so this is a very subjective question, as Nikhil said, but on an average, when I started, I kicked off with about 8 hours per day, and then I gradually increased the number of days. So a suggestion by me would be that do not kill yourself, and do not be after yourself from the first day itself. Just take it one step at a time, and increase the time that you give every day to the preparation. Because if you start by, say, 14 hours a day, you will gradually be bored of it. And this is someone's experience that I'm sharing, which I had before starting my preparation. So I was not too hard at myself in the first month or so. I gradually increased the number of hours that I was giving. So I started with 8 hours, and then gradually it became 10 hours. Not, I wouldn't say that more than 10 hours I gave before the examinations. During the examination, you're just studying. But to the answer to your question about the number of hours I slept, would be that I slept a maximum of 6 hours. So that was because of my mother, and also because of my friends. Because so my mother used to matlab, I did not want to sleep, but she used to take me to bed and close my books, and then she made me sleep for approximately 6 hours, because it was very necessary. I do not know how students just go for the exam without sleeping. Like, my brain stopped working if I don't sleep. So sleeping is very necessary. I don't know how students do that and not sleep the entire 1.5 days before the exam. You have to sleep. You got to sleep.
Absolutely. So, let me tell you, Shivangi works for a Big Four and has done her articleship in Big Four. And fortunately, she has done part of her articleship in audit and rest of the part in tax. So, two questions to you, Shivangi. A, how did you cope with Big Four articleship in Big Four and your examination? B, which one is better, audit or tax?
Okay, so articleship is a very integral part of the whole CA journey. You cannot negate your work and concentrate on studies. That might land you with a CA tag, but you cannot do justice to it. So, articleship is a very important part of the journey that you are about to embark. So articleship is very important, and it can be from a Big Four. It can be from a non-Big Four. That is completely subjective. That depends how many hours do you want to put in, and what quality of work you're getting, and what interests you. So that is up for you to decide. And how did I manage a Big Four articleship with my studies was that I used to plan. That is the key. Planning is the key. You need to have your hours fixed, that how much time you have to have in your mind, that how many hours do I want to give to work, and I will so that I am able to go back home and give a particular number of hours to studies or to my classes. So you have to plan those things out, and it will work out. It is not that people from Big Four do not attain a rank or do not become CAs. So they have that exposure also in their hands, and they also do well in academics. So it works both ways. You should do both of them and plan effectively. And your answer about audit or tax, yes, I have done both. There is no clear answer what is better, audit or tax. It is very subjective. It depends on what interests you, and what subjects do you like maybe, and what kind of exposure you're getting in the particular firm that you're applying to. So it completely depends on you and what interests you, I would say.
That was a diplomatic one from Shivangi Goyal, and yes, she has to be diplomatic now because she is a chartered accountant now. So, last question to Shivangi. Shivangi, what are the three critical elements which you want all the students to be in, have there in their minds, and be cautious about those three things to attain success in a professional examination, be it CA, CS, or CMA?
So one would be prepare a schedule for yourself and abide by it. So that should be like a granth for you, and that should be something that you follow every day, and just be happy that you're achieving those small little milestones that you set for yourself. Maybe by going for a hobby, as Nikhil said, for a dance class or a gym session, a very rigorous one, but just go for it, and make a schedule. Planning is very important during the study leaves as well. Second, I would say keep your immediate family members very close to you. They are very important, and the support that you need constantly, only those guys can give it to you. Um, Third thing would be stay away from distractions. So distractions and negative energy, you will have a lot of that during the study time phase, and also you might feel a little low during that time because you're constantly only studying. You do not have any touch to the outside world. Like I per se did not have any connect to the social media. I was off social media for those 6 months. So just stay away from negative energy. There will be n number of people telling you otherwise, that you should take some time off, just be available, like you should talk to friends or something like that. That is also subjective. Then keep your immediate family members close and stay away from negative energy. If you feel something is not good for you, just trust your instincts, I would say.
Very good answer, Shivangi. And seriously, these are the three key parameters which should be kept in mind while studying. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed this session, and I hope you got some useful insights on how to appear for your examinations and clear them too. I know it's tough. I know professional examinations test your perseverance, test your patience. But at the end of it, guys, it's worth it, because I know how many offers is she getting in campus right now, and I am privy to the numbers which which he is getting as packages, trust me, they are humongous and they are beautiful. So if it's worth it, then all the hard work, all the efforts are worth it. So on that happy note, as I always say, pen is mightier than the sword, and for us professionals, pen is one thing which is our power. So I would like to give Shivangi a pen. Shivangi, congratulations on your latest achievement, and we hope, all of our viewers hope, that you have an amazing career in your professional life. Maybe we can see you as a CFO of one of the MNCs one day, and definitely all the very best for your professional life. So guys, uh, now if your parents say that you've attained 80% marks, take commerce, not science. Accept it wholeheartedly, accept it graciously and with pride, because you know commerce is definitely a big deal. All the very best and happy studying.